Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Advanced Bass Fishing, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check out today's episode. And guys, today I want to have a little conversation about some things you can do to actually trigger big bass into biting. I mean, big bass are hard to catch. They're an exception to the rule. There's not very many of them out there, and it takes a special set of variables that have to come together perfectly to catch a big one. And when I talk about a big one, I'm talking about bass over 5 pounds. That a 5-pound bass is a big bass for the most everywhere in the country, except for maybe like Florida or California or Texas. That's still a big one there, but for most part of the country, 5-pounders and 5, 6, 7, 8-pounders are big ones. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. And also, guys, for get started, just a quick invitation. I just want you to know about the Independence Day sale going on my Solar Bat Series sunglasses right now. 30% off right now, including free shipping and handling if you use the promo code RandyB, capital R, capital B. And also, with any purchase of those Solar Bat glasses, you get a free hard case from Solar Bat. So I'll have that link in the description of the video there. And also, real quick, guys, if you're anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, and shoot me a private message, and I'll get you all set up with the details on that. So I appreciate it. Okay, have you ever noticed that some people catch bigger fish than others consistently? And this is something that is not over a course of time, over a period of time. That's not luck. There's things that people do that can generate strikes from bigger bass. And from my experience, guys, looking back over the course of my bass fishing career so far, there's some common threads that really share as far as all the big fish I've caught. And 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-pounders. There's a common thread amongst all those. So I want to talk a little bit about what you can do to really up your chances to catch those fish. Okay, the first thing is you got to fish where big ones live. If you're not fishing where big fish live, you're not going to catch any big fish. And all you dudes that live in California and Texas and Florida are spoiled because you guys have all the big fish. It's like those 3 states have the vast majority of big bass in the country. Everywhere else, big ones are sort of an exception to the rule. There's just not that many big fish everywhere else. So a lot of it depends on where you're at. If you live in Ohio and fish the Ohio River all the time, a 3-pounder is a big one. If you are in my part of the country, like here around Table Rock Lake and Lake of the Ozarks, a 5-pounder is a big one. So it's all relative to where you're at. But to catch what you consider a big fish for the area you're in, all those big fish pretty much use the same thing, and they relate to the same type of variables that cause them to bite. Number one is you've got to fish where they're at on the lake where big fish live. And big fish, they want 2 things for the most part. They want to have a diversity of cover, and they want to have some deep water close by. Those 2 combinations are premium areas for big bass. If you have an area that doesn't have much cover in it or doesn't have a diversity of cover, there's not going to be very many big bass around there. And also, if you have an area that may have a lot of cover in it, but it's nowhere near deep water, or there's not a creek channel nearby or a river channel, any big fish that you catch is going to be an exception to the rule. Now, I'm not saying that you can't catch a rogue big fish anywhere, because at any given time, you might pull up at the right place at the right time and catch one. But I'm talking about consistently catching big fish year after year after year. Those are the type of areas you need to put yourself in. So if you're out targeting big fish and you want to catch a big one specifically, choose your areas with those 2 things in mind. The more cover that you have, the thicker the cover, the more diverse the cover is, and the closer the deep water is, the better odds for you to catch a big one. So let's say, for example, you're fishing down a shoreline and it's got docks, maybe a little lily pad field, a lay down tree here and there, maybe some riprap bank close by, and then you've got a river channel or a creek channel, a stone's throw away from where you're fishing. That's a perfect place for a big one to live at all year long. So that's another thing you really got to put into consideration. The next thing with that is you're going to catch more big fish at certain times of the year than others. There's 2 primary times of the year that you're going to your odds are going to increase tremendously as far as catching a big fish. Number one is in the pre-spawn when the water temperature's in the 50s. That's when most of the big fish are caught all over the country. That's where because there's more big ones up shallower in less than 10 foot during that pre-spawn period than any other time of the year, and they're usually biting. And the other period is in the late post-spawn and early summer when those fish move out to like ledges and offshore humps and drop-offs. Those are the two times a year that your odds of catching big ones are, far above anything else. Any other time of the year, guys, if you catch a big one, it's sort of an exception to the rule. So if you want to really increase your odds of catching a big one, number one, go to those areas I talked about, diverse cover, access to deep water, and go there in March or early June. Those are the two best big bass months. Okay, the next thing with that is you've got to throw baits that produce big fish. Now, I've seen 7-pounders caught on Ned rigs. I've seen 7-pounders caught on shaky heads. You can catch a big one on any lure out there, but you're not going to consistently catch big ones unless you fish lures that can produce big fish. Now, big fish, you don't necessarily have to have big lures to catch big fish. You have to have the right profile and the right water displacement to catch big fish. So some of the top lures that consistently catch big ones is, number one, a big spinnerbait, like a 3/4 ounce to 1 ounce spinnerbait with like a big number 6, number 7 willow leaf blade. I consider that probably the number one big bass lure, big spinnerbait. Second with that is a full-size jig, like my Blaukat Throwback jig, a big full-size chunk on there, a big bulky profile jig. That's number 2. Number 3 was going to be some type of like a chatterbait. Chatterbaits produce big ones, and they produce a lot of fish, but they also catch quality fish. Topwater lures can produce big ones. A buzzbait, a Zara spook under the right conditions, whopper ploppers, they can get big ones. And then finally, some type of a swim bait or glide bait category. Now, even though big swim baits and glide baits, they are associated with catching big ones, I put them near the bottom of the list in that category I just mentioned, simply because you don't get many fish to commit and bite a glide bait and a big swim bait. It's like you'll get a lot of lookers, but you don't get a lot of fish that actually commit to it. That's why your chatterbaits and your jigs and your spinner baits are going to be the baits you want to fish. So my advice, guys, if you want to catch big ones, number one, March, late June. Number 2, fish a spinner bait, a jig, chatterbait, maybe a swim bait or a glide bait. That's going to really accentuate and really, give you a lot better odds of catching them. Another thing with that is you've got to be quiet. You got to be stealthy. Don't try to keep your in the boat movements to a minimum. Don't slam the trolling motor down. Don't make a bunch of noise in the boat. Big bass are not stupid. They did not get big by being stupid. These are genetically superior bass, and the quieter and the stealthier that you can be, that's going to play a big role in it. And then finally, you're going to catch a lot more big ones, guys, with slow presentations. You're not going to catch many big fish fishing a bait real fast. Like, you're not going to catch many big ones fishing your spinner bait fast or your chatterbait fast. You're going to catch more bass fishing a slow, medium retrieve with those particular areas than anything else. So anyway, that's just a few tips, guys. If you institute that and try some of those tips I gave you, your odds of catching big ones will go way up. So anyway, we'll talk later. See you.